and welcome to Destiny Youth Online, second episode. If you were here last week, welcome back. If this is your first time joining us, it's so cool to have you as part of the live stream for Destiny Youth. You will be aware, if you normally join us, that usually up until now we would have been in Gorgie at this time, playing table tennis, eating food, having a laugh, having time just messing around on the stage and chatting and getting to know one another. But with the whole situation with the coronavirus, we have gone online. So this is episode number 2. If you want to, you can go back and check out episode number 1 if you didn't see it last week. It's on the YouTube channel. If you've not yet subscribed, we'd love you to subscribe. That'll make sure that you get our content as we release it every week. But just to say, hey, I'd love to know who's joining tonight. So if you're in the chat, I'd love you just to give me a wave, put a little hand up, give me a little wave. Let me know where you're joining from tonight. Are you in your bedroom? Are you in your bathroom? Are you in your kitchen? You're out in your garden making use of a decent internet connection. I'd love to know who we've got joining us and where they're joining from. I know it can take a little bit of time for the comments to come in, so I'll maybe give you a second just to tune in and get ready and get comfortable and put a little message up just to say who you are and where you're joining in from if you're able to. I'm going to have a wee look. I'm going to be able to. This is why I've got my laptop in front of me. I can see all your chat as they come in. James is saying him and the dog are joining in from Gorebridge. Dog keeping him company tonight. Don't know if anybody else wants to say hi. Just to say a little hello. Just give us a wee wave in the chat, just to say you're there. But it's good to have you. You can keep typing things as we go on. You keep engaging. We've got a few leaders there who are ready to chat to you and hang out and ask you how your week's gone. And so feel free any point during the stream to do that. There are a whole bunch of other ways you can connect with us during this season. The first thing you can do is you can actually go to our Instagram page. I know all of you might not have Instagram, or if you're under the age of 13, or maybe you just don't have it as an app. But if you do have it and you use it regularly, we'd love you to go and I'm going to try to get my directions right. We'd love you to go and check out our Instagram handle at Destiny Youth Edinburgh, all one word. Things that'll go up there are daily videos. Hopefully by the start of next week, we'll have bits and pieces, little questions of the day, kind of just fun content to kind of keep you entertained while we're in the coronavirus season. If you've got any questions or you want to know more about us, or you want to send us in a funny meme, or you want to get in touch with us, this is the address that you want to use. Stick this into your email, youth@destinyedinburgh.com. Whether that you're here and you normally come to Destiny Youth, or whether actually you're kind of visiting, just checking us out online tonight, those are the two places that you're going to want to go and check us out. So keep an eye on those over the next little while. One thing to tell you about is last week, on Monday, we launched our online small groups, which were absolutely class. Give me a little wave or stick your hand up if you're in the online small groups. On Monday, we had a class time. It was awesome. I hope you like my new graphics. I'm hoping that we're up-leveling from last week. Hope you're seeing all this. This is where you got to be on Monday, 7:30 p.m. Get involved on online small groups. We had an absolute blast last week. It was really good fun. It was kind of chaotic and a bit of carnage, but it was great. If you saw on Instagram, there are rumours going around, to be believed, that actually somebody won a Domino's pizza. That rumour is true. Archie Barron walked away this week with a Domino's pizza because he came and hung out with us in small group. So you know where to be, 7:30 p.m. on Monday. If you're normally someone who connects with us on regularly as Destiny Youth, you'll get a link from your parents. So you just got to ask them on Monday, what's the link? How do I join on Zoom? Can you send that on to me and get connected with us? If you don't normally connect with us and you want to find out more about that, then just use the email address that I referenced earlier, youth@destinyedinburgh.com. There it should appear below again, just there. So you can go and email in to let us know if you've got a question or you want us, your young person to get connected a little bit more. Cool. I think my graphics are working, which is encouraging. I'm going to go back to the little chat, have we look, see what anybody's checking in. So we've got a little comment from Michael. Good to see you, Michael. Don't know exactly what he's saying, but Pietro's rolling around on the floor with laughter for some reason. And Yanis is there. Good to see you, Yanis. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming and joining us. All right. I don't know if you saw, last week I attempted horrendously a challenge. I did go very well, to be honest. Because I sat on my sofa, to be fair, I can give myself a wee bit of grace. I tried to do the toilet roll keep you up challenge, and it was a total disaster. I got one. So I thought, for my own pride's sake, that I should have another go. And what actually, as well, is I threw the challenge out to you. And I've seen a few of you actually that have been on your own Instagram, posting on your story little clips of you who've and tagging each other, which is really cool. But I asked some leaders and some of you who've sent in on Instant Messenger a few clips of the toilet roll challenge. So have a little look and see what you think of this.
Stop.
Hey, where did that go?
Pretty cool, eh? I want you to take a minute just now. I want you to comment on the one that you thought was the best. Michael, you're not allowed to comment on your own one. Comment on the one on the chat, just who you think was actually the best one. It was really fun to film that. And if you want to get involved in some of the weekly challenges going forward, what you need to do is you need to send us a DM on Instagram with a video of you getting involved. Or if you don't use Instagram, you can email it into us at the address that I talked about earlier, which is the one just down there. I've shown a couple of times already tonight. But in order to celebrate the first young person who actually got involved and sent us a toilet roll keep you up video, Manash, I don't know if you're watching. You might not be watching tonight, but you could be watching this back later on. We're going to send you something in the post this week as a little bit of a prize for being the first person to send us a clip of you doing the toilet roll keep you up challenge. Good job, Manash. Keep engaging with us. We want to see things that make us laugh. We want to have a good time with you guys and connect with you over the next little while, however long it's going to be. I think it's really important in these times that actually we can have fun and we can continue to connect and laugh during the middle of something which is quite challenging, a challenging period of time. So I wonder if anyone's come back to me on who they thought the best one was. Michael's asking James, where was yours? I think that's a valid question. I want you to put a thumbs up in the chat if you think James Stout should have to film a video for next week that we can show on the live stream with or without his dog. I think it's entirely up to him, but give me a thumbs up if you think James should actually James Stout should film us a video of him doing a few keepy-ups. I'd like to see that. He says he's a rebel, but I don't believe him. So what's this week's challenge, I hear you ask? Well, I'm glad that you asked that. What you need to know is that this week's challenge is based off a TV show. It's based off a TV show called Taskmaster. It's a show that I used to watch with Graham and Rona every week whenever I lived with them for a couple of months. And obviously, with the show not being able to film properly, they've had to do a home version of it. So if you want to go and see examples of the challenge, go and search for Taskmaster at Home on YouTube, and you'll be able to see a clip of what I'm talking about. But what I want you to do, this is your challenge. I want to see clips of this coming in on Instagram and on the email. I want you to put an A4 piece of paper. Got an A4 piece of paper in front of me here. A4 piece of paper. I want you to put it into the bin in the most spectacular way you possibly can. So your basic standard way is to scrumble it up, throw it in the bin, take a film of yourself throwing it in the bin. But what I want to see is a bit of creativity. I want to see a bit of fun. I want to see you inject your own life and your own personality into it. I want you could animate it. You could do a backflip. There's someone on the Taskmaster YouTube doing a backflip and putting it in the bucket. Albeit, please don't attempt that if you can't do backflips. But that's your task for this next week. And if Minash is willing, hopefully we'll get a little photograph of him with his prize to motivate you and encourage you to take part, because it'd be good for us to have something fun to do together during this the time that we can still connect and still have youth on a Friday night and do fun stuff like this. So that's your task. That's what I want you to do. Again, just so you remember, send it in on Instagram through a DM, or send it in via email to this address below. I'd love to see get involved. It's going to be fun. I'm going to film one. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But okay, who's been having a wee chat? Got a few leaders chipping in there. If anybody else is online, any young people that normally connect with us and you want to say hi, just chip in anytime on the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Steph thinks that Rona's effort was pretty good. I personally think Graham's an absolute champ. I'm impressed. I lost count of how many he actually did, but impressive. I thought 10 was pretty good. I was happy with my effort. Okay, we want to bring bits and pieces. I have no idea if this next part is going to work, to be honest. What I want to do is, I'm always thinking of new ideas and things ways we can make this better. I want to have some of you involved as young people on Friday Night Youth. So we're going to have some guest appearances over the weeks to come. We might do it in different ways, but I'm not going to tell you who tonight's guest appearance is. I'm just going to pick up the phone and ring them. And to be honest, there's a bit of a time lag between the video and it coming through to where you're at. So this could be interesting. So I'm going to make this phone call. I'm going to put it on speakerphone and we'll see what happens. Here we go. This is this week's guest appearance. Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Who's speaking and who are you and where do you come from?
Michael, I'm from Edinburgh.
Michael Anderson, how are you? Give me a wee update on your life. What's been happening? How you been doing? How's the last week been?
Yeah, but always a bit different with everything going on. Got myself a job. Went along to Scotland doing shifts all week. So it's been full on.
So you're actually going out and bringing home a bit of dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just over this time as well with no school.
Yeah. How do you feel being on Friday Night Youth Live? Is this the greatest thing that's ever happened to you in your life so far?
Up there with them.
Up there, yeah. What
Yeah.
You got anything else that's comparable? I mean, I don't think there's much that's comparable, but anything to compare?
Thinking about it more, there's not really much to compare to it.
Not much to compare. All right, so you've got all this extra free time. What have you been doing with all of the time that you have apart from working? What else have you been up to?
Being honest, I've just been sort of chilling. Just filling my time with playing a bit of Xbox, reading a bit, watching a couple of things. Just
cool beans, pretty much standard then. Nothing outrageous.
Yeah.
Have you done anything outrageous? What's the craziest thing you've done being on lockdown, being at home?
I would say it'd be the toilet paper. Just keeping up because not really something I've done before.
I'm surprised, to be honest, that most of us actually spend quite a lot of time doing that, so I'm surprised actually that that's the first time you've done that. But well, good job. I liked your video. Thanks for contributing. Last question on Friday Night Live, your first appearance, hopefully not your last. Tell us one thing that actually God's been encouraging you with in this season.
I think with all the negative stuff going on social media and all the things that people may look at it and it's bad, is to focus on the things that are good in this time. So it's not just to do with the coronavirus itself, it's also to do with friendships. So still trying to look at the positives and things as well.
Love it, love it. Continuing to invest into people and looking at the positives at a time when there's a lot of information out there that can make us feel quite negative. Michael, you're a champ. We'll have you on again another time.
Yeah,
good to chat.
It's a pleasure.
I'll let you go back to a live stream.
Yeah, cool.
All right, that was guest number one. First time I've ever done that. I've literally no idea what happened in your house at your computer with that. It may have been really laggy. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully you heard the audio nice. Maybe give me a wee thumbs up just to say, yeah, got it. It was decent. Came through clearly. But you could be next. You could be next on Friday Night Live, Friday Night Youth Live. I could be coming and knocking on your door next. So be prepared. Also, if you've got any ideas for stuff you'd like us to do, things you'd like us to cover, chat about, ideas for fun activities that we could do, games, or other things that you'd like to see on Friday Night Youth, again, just send us a wee message. Put it in the chat box. I don't know why I keep pointing over there. Put it in the chat box, or send us an email or send us a wee DM on Instagram. I'm always looking for new ideas, so please do connect. Cool beans. We'll carry on. This is your moment to interact. So if you've been moving all over the place in your bedroom up until now and you've not actually really been watching, come now and watch. Come get involved. Come and interact. Going to play a little game. It's called 3-Year-Old Pictionary. Let me explain it first, so that then you can connect in whenever we go. So basically, something's going to come on the screen. You're going to still, I can't remember if you're going to still see me or not, to be honest. You might or you might not. But something's going to come on the screen and it's going to be a picture drawn by a 3-year-old. And you have to guess A, B, or C. So I need a bit of interaction here. I want you to put in the chat bar whether you think it's A, B, or C. And then we'll see if you're right, basically. So here we go. There's about 10 of them. Keep a little tally for yourself. You've got to be honest at the end. Tell us how many you got. No prize for this because I can't really verify if you're lying or not, to be honest. So, but pride is on the line. Want to see who gets the most. Because it's really, really important that we can all decipher what 3-year-olds are drawn. That's good life skill. Here we go. First one. What do you think that is? Oh, we had a wee bit of a quick answer there. This is what happens when you use technology. You didn't really get a chance to answer that one, so we'll call that one a null and void. Okay, answer this one. A, B, or C. Put it in the chat. What is that? A, B, or C? Is it? You can read it for yourself. It's A. The answer is A. So that's your first question. Are you 1 from 1? Or are you 0 from 1? Heading on to the next one in a few seconds. All right. What is this spectacular drawing? Give you time to read it, hopefully. I'll try and read them out as well. Hopefully we've got enough time. B, that was an alien talking to a guy taking a guy to be probed. So, next one. What is that? Is that Donald Trump? Is that a Yeti singing opera? Or is that Batman with a beard? Put your answer in. It's Batman with a beard. Oh, need a wee bit more time delay between these. Quite spectacular, actually. Again, okay. Vampire, angry cow, or I can't even read the bottom one from here. What is that? Answers on a postcard. Send them in. It's vampire, actually. I don't really know how it's vampire, but hopefully somebody got it right. All right. Crow looking for trash to eat. T-Rex with abnormal stick-like growths on his snout. A yawning deer. It's a crow looking for trash to eat. So hopefully you're getting time to put your answers in. A, B, or C in the chat. Keep a running total of how many you've got right. Hopefully it's all making sense. A, B, or C, zombie rabbit, happy bat, or this is you, daddy. Seems a bit harsh. It's a happy bat. I'm glad that it wasn't C. I wonder how many you've got right so far. This is all going to cycle through, so hopefully you've got a few right at least. Here we go. A, B, or C. 3-horned goat. I can't even read that second one. And C, a dancing gecko. I like that. Dancing gecko. Number C. Mid-jig. Don't know if you got that right or not. Make sure you're putting your answers in the chat, A, B, or C, as they're coming up. All right, what do you think about this one? Friendly centipede, superhero cat fighting bad guys, or the coronavirus? Superhero cat fighting bad guys. A cat with a million arms, it appears. I wonder has anybody got them all right so far? Okay, A, B, or C. I can't even read that. Pterodactyls. Is that silent P? Dragon man who's also fireman. A rabbit. Okay, beat me to that time. That was B. Dragon who's also a fireman. Hopefully get the next one coming up in a sec. All right, what is that? I'll let you have a look at the answers. A, B, or C. Put it in the chat just now. And it is just a plain old duck. See, you were tempted to go for something more outrageous in that one, weren't you? Because the other ones were outrageous. And that is us coming back to the first one. I don't know if you saw the answer, if you're cheating the first time round, but try and answer it anyway. See what you think it is. It's actually C. It's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 3, obviously. I don't know how you didn't get that if you didn't know. All right, coming back to me. I'm going to see you on the chat. I want you to tell me, how many did you get? I think there's 10. I can't think. 10 or 11. How many did you get? Put it on the chat. Did you even have time to answer the questions? I don't even know. Hopefully you did. But I want to know who's getting a lot of answers right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Coming through. I can see Matthew saying hi to Michael. There's a little bit of a lag, so I'm going to wait. But hopefully I'll see. Let me know how many you got. How many did you get out of 10 or 11? James thinks he got 1. Michael didn't get many. Giannis got 5. Good job, Giannis. Well done. Solid work. Let's see if anybody else, anyone else got. A couple more people. Tell us how many you got. Pietro got none. Sorry, Pietro. Neve got 1. Well, at least you got 1. That's more than Pietro. What's Steph put duck? That's what she put in the chat. Just duck. So I don't know what that means. She just got the duck one. Gabby got 3. Good job, Gabby. Well done. I can see a few more answers coming through, a few more people chipping in with how many they got. Hopefully that was fun. A little way to just interact. 3-year-olds are not able to draw that well, really, are they? But I think that was a little fun game. All right, so what we're going to do each week is we're going to take a little bit of time every week, and we might do this in different ways, but it's to look at the Bible. So I want to take a few minutes just to talk through something hopefully that will encourage us from the Bible. So I thought, actually, you know what would be a good thing to look at in the current time and season. And I think a good thing to look at, actually, and we're in a season that is very uncertain and challenging, and there's a lot of things that are unknown. We're seeing things that are quite negative in the news, and it's not necessarily an easy time. And there's a lot of different voices and a lot of people giving us advice and things that we should do or follow. But I think never has there been a better time to look at what Jesus has to say for us. That's what the Bible is. It's what Jesus has to say into our lives, and it's actually relevant for every part of our lives. Even though it was written a while ago, it's God's word, and it's timeless, and that means that it has something to say to us tonight. So let me just pray before we turn to that. If you want to just where you are, actually, just as a sign that you're open to God speaking to you tonight, you might want to just put your hands out and just close your eyes. There's nothing weird about that. It's just simply saying, you know what, God, I'm here, and I'm ready to receive for myself what you have for me. So why don't you do that just now, and I'll pray for us as we open the Bible. Jesus, I just thank you that you are in charge. Even though it feels like the world is sometimes in chaos, that you are on the throne in heaven, and that you are working everything out for our best. Jesus, I thank you that your word in the Bible is powerful, that it has things to say into our lives today that will help change us and transform us and shape us. I pray, Jesus, that as we open your word, that you would help us to meet with you. For those that need encouragement, encourage them. For those that need comforted, comfort them. For those that need challenged and spurred on, challenge them and spur them on. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so why don't you grab a Bible, have a little look. You might have a physical one in the room that you're in. Maybe you don't own a Bible, that's cool. You might want to just, you can get it on your phone. So have a little look at the YouVersion Bible app. And what I want you to do is I want you to turn to Matthew chapter 7. So Matthew is a book in the New Testament, and it's an eyewitness account of Jesus' life. So you might, if you don't have the YouVersion Bible app and you don't have a Bible physically on you, it's going to appear on the screen behind me, so feel free to follow along with me. But actually, there's something really good about having it physically in front of you as well. It's a different way of engaging, it's a different way of connecting. So I'll give you just a minute or two, not as long as that, I'll give you a few seconds if you haven't grabbed a physical Bible or your phone. Maybe you're watching this on your laptop and you can open it up on your phone. But have a little look at it and get it open in front of you so you can follow on. Okay, a couple more seconds and then I'm going to read it for us. Here we go. This is what it says. I'll read it from my physical Bible. You follow on with me on the verses on the screen. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority, and not as their teachers of the law. I wonder what the coolest thing is you've ever built. I wonder if there's something that you've built that immediately comes to mind that you're really proud of. Let me know on the chat. I want to hear from people. I want to hear what's the coolest thing you've ever built. What's something that you've built that you're really proud of. It could be that something that you built on a computer. It could be something that you built with your hands. It could be something that you built out of Lego when you were a kid. All sorts of things. What have you built that you're proud of? I know Richard is probably tuning into this. He may or may not be, but he builds loads of stuff. So he always goes around to his house and he's got one project or another project that he's built. And of course, Steph as well is building things in a different way quite often in terms of her artwork, creating, building, constructing. So what we got is anybody? IKEA furniture, James says. He's proud of building IKEA furniture. I'm not going to ask how long it took you. I'm not going to ask how many possible swear words you might have said under your breath when you hit your thumb with a hammer or you put something in the wrong place, you didn't read the instructions right. But I wonder what's the thing that you've built that you're most proud of. Richard has written a self-watering plant system. I don't even know what that is. I probably could guess, but I have no idea what that even is. I'm guessing it's probably quite fun, quite cool if Richard built it, but I feel like I need a photograph as proof of that, like that even existing or what even that is. Gabrielle has said she built her bed. I think that's pretty impressive, to be honest. Being able to build your own bed, that'll give you an extra wee bit of satisfaction when you go to sleep at night, lying in a bed that you've actually built yourself. Love that. Love that. Steph said hallway cupboard storage because she's an old lady. Well, I'll leave others to be the judge of that. But anyway, let me tell you about something that I used to love building. It's not necessarily something I'm massively proud of, but I was obsessed whenever we went on holidays when I was a kid with building sandcastles. If you're the same as me and you're on the beach and you love that, then just give me a wee wave with a wee wave emoji. Just let me know that you're in the same boat as me. But we used to go on holidays and I used to get my back used to get so tan because you spend so long digging in the beach, and I used to love creating these outrageous and ridiculous sandcastles. And what I love to do, what was my favourite thing to do, is to create a sandcastle, but build it really close to the edge of the water. And then when the tide's coming in, you try and fight the tide. You try and stop the tide from overwhelming the little sandcastle and dig ditches with your hands, or the little trowel or spade that you had with me. And I used to love that. It's like my favourite thing when we were on holidays. I don't know if anybody's going to give me a wee wave to say that as their favourite thing as well. Maybe I'm a loner, maybe I'm on my own in that. But I love that. Holidays, sandcastles, tide coming in, bang, fun for hours. But we've come to this bit of the Bible where Jesus is talking and he's given some advice, and his main advice is around building. It's not just around building, it's around building on different types of material like sand and rock. And actually, I think the reason why God has encouraged me and led me towards speaking about this tonight is because the time that we live in has never been a more important time to ask this question. What's the foundation of your life? What is the foundation that you're building your life upon? You don't have to answer that in the chat. Maybe immediately an answer comes to mind. But Jesus here has given us and given me and you the way to build a life that's strong, that can stand through storms, challenges, and difficulties without being crushed or collapsed. He kind of paints this picture of two different ways of living. The first thing that I want us to notice is actually that storms reveal your foundation. Storms reveal your foundation. Nobody goes out and on a really sunny day and 20 degrees and the sun is splitting the stones. That's beautiful. You don't see people run around the street panicking, trying to protect their homes, getting sandbags for the doorways, making sure that their roof is all covered and set up and sorted because they're worried. Nobody does that when it's sunny. But if there's a flood or if there's a storm or if there's a lot of wind, that's when you see people going out and shoring up telephone lines. That's when you see people going out and putting sandbags around their door when they're worried actually that the storm is coming. There's going to be a storm and it's going to impact and have a potential negative effect on my house. And maybe that's actually true. I think that's true of us as human beings tonight as well. I think that's a little bit of what Jesus is getting at here. You have two builders and both go through a storm. But it's only when the storm happens that the foundation is tested. And you might have gone through a storm up before now in your life. We all do, whether you follow Jesus or not tonight, whether you're tuning in and you have a relationship with God or not, everyone goes through storms. Maybe you've been through the storm of divorce. Your parents have split up. Maybe you've been through the storm of bullying. Maybe you've been through or are going through the storm of mental health and anxiety. Maybe you're going through the storm of everything that's happening with the coronavirus. Maybe you're seeing the storm around you at the minute, the storm of job losses, the storm of empty supermarket shelves, the storm of illness and potential death. Maybe you've experienced the storm of that up close. Maybe you've experienced the storm of a family member or a friend passing away. Maybe you're actually in the middle of a storm right now. Maybe the wind is rising, the flood water's coming in, and you're worried that you might collapse. Storms reveal our foundation. Every one of us has a foundation that we're building our life on. And actually, with this story and the way Jesus paints it, either we're building our lives on Him, the rock, or we're building our lives on something else, the sand. What else could you possibly be building your life upon? I wonder if you want to take a second just to think about that. Maybe for you it's money. Maybe everything that you are is about being rich. Everything that you are is about having enough money. Maybe everything you are is about earning money. Maybe it's about fame or success. Maybe everything that you do is to become famous or successful. Maybe your foundation is approval. Maybe your foundation is I have to be loved. People have to like me. People have to love me or I will collapse and I will be nothing. Maybe it's intelligence. Maybe your intelligence is everything to you. Maybe it's about your performance in exams. Maybe it's about achievement. Maybe it's about relationships with the opposite sex. Maybe you just have to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You just have to be connected to someone in that way. Maybe it's family. Your family as your foundation. And actually, none of these things in and of themselves are bad. They're just sand compared to Jesus. They're the sand compared to the rock. How do you know if you're building your foundation on something else? When a storm comes, it's the way that you react in the middle of that storm. I think for me, one of the challenges when it comes to foundation is that I tend to find my foundation quite a lot in approval. I tend to build my life on what other people think of me. I tend to build my life on others liking me. And the actions that I take and the steps that I take and the decisions that I make quite often are influenced by that because that's what's going on underneath. And for each of us, what's going on underneath might be something other than pleasing and following Jesus. So I want to encourage us tonight, the way to live in a way that when storms come, we won't collapse is actually looking in ourselves and realizing, what am I building my life upon? Is it what Jesus wants? Is it to follow and love and care for him and go after him? Or is it what I want? So maybe what's this question for you tonight? What's your foundation? What's your foundation? You'll see it best whenever a storm comes up in your life. You'll see it best when actually things go a bit wrong. and you're being pushed and you're being challenged and you're being stretched. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, went through the most difficult and most outrageous of storms. He went through the storm of the cross. Why did he do that? He did that because he loves you. He went and became a man. He was God. He was the one who had always been and will always be. And he became a man like you and like me. And he went to the cross and died in our place. He took the storm of all of God's wrath against all the things we've done wrong and all the times we've messed up. And he took all of the weight of our mistakes on himself. He went through that storm, had his nails pierced through his hands and his feet, was hung up on a cross, and the wrath of God was poured out on him instead of being poured out on you and being poured out on me. He took our storm so that actually we can have a relationship that's secure throughout the whole of our lives and into the life after death that he promises and offers to us. I don't know if you've made that choice tonight. I don't know who's tuning into this. I don't know if you're a young person and you've been in church your whole life, but you've never actually chosen to follow Jesus. You've never chosen to start a relationship with him. Or maybe you're tuning in and you have no connection to church whatsoever. I want to encourage you, there is a way to live that's wise. There is a way to live that will help you to get through every storm in your life. And that way is to obey and follow Jesus. It's what he says at the very start of this little speech that he's making. Therefore, and let me read it again. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on a rock. Obey and put these things into practice in order to live a wise life and to have your life built upon a rock. Is Jesus the one you're following? Are you leaning into him and doing what he says? So I encourage you tonight, lean into him today. Seek him, put him first, dig your foundations deep into his love and his kindness and his grace. Last thing I want to say, I want to finish with this, is actually there's a difference between hearing and doing. There's a difference between hearing and doing. Jesus talks about hearing and doing. He doesn't just talk about hearing. Wisdom and a life that survives through every storm and thrives is all about hearing what Jesus says and doing it. If you read these verses, this bit of the Bible, you can go back through and read it yourself. This is the end of the bit of the Bible called the Sermon on the Mount. It's actually Jesus' probably his most famous speech that he ever made. If you ask anyone that maybe hasn't read the Bible that much, or they're not that familiar with church, or they're not that familiar with Jesus, they'll probably know bits and pieces of this. He talks about, in the previous 2 chapters, he talks about love your enemies. Don't judge other people. He talks about if you have an anger towards someone, it's actually almost like you've murdered them in your heart. If you have a lust towards someone, it's almost like you've committed adultery with them in your heart. And he lays out all these principles and ways of living that are so different and so countercultural to the way that the world lives. And then he finishes it with this story. He finishes it by saying, you'll be wise if you put all of these words into practice. That's how you build your life on me. That's how you build your life on a rock. That when storms come, that your foundation will not be shaken. There's a difference between hearing and doing. When Beck asks me to do something, if I'm doing something else, quite often I will hear her, but I'll forget and I won't do what she asked me to do. She'll come back and say, did you not do that? And I'll immediately remember that she told me that the dishwasher needed, the dishes needed put away, or that I needed to vacuum. I heard her, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't take it in. It didn't go from here to here. Part of hearing and doing what Jesus says is to let it go from here to here. Is to make a choice to say, you know what, I'm not just going to hear that and immediately forget about it. I'm going to hear it and do it. That's my challenge to you this week. I want you to go back through these 2 chapters before these verses, read them for yourself, maybe listen to them if you like to listen to verses. I want you to pick one thing that Jesus says, one thing, and I want you to commit to doing it this week. Not just hearing it, not just taking it in, but actually choosing to do it. Because we've read tonight, that's how we're wise. That's how we build our lives on a rock, even if everything else is uncertain around us. With coronavirus, uncertain, with all sorts of things not being able to control, we can have a solid foundation if we follow Jesus. And we don't have to do it to be religious. But actually doing this is the most freeing thing you could ever do with your life. It's because we love him, because he first loved us. It's a response to his awesome love for us. It's not so that we're religious and we tick boxes. It's because we love him and we want to follow him, and we trust him with our lives. It's a lot easier to build in sand than it is to build on rock, Building on sand doesn't take very much time. It doesn't cost very much. It's easy. Building on rock's hard. Building on rock takes time. Building on rock, you have to dig deep in order for the foundations to be strong enough. Building on rock costs money. But actually, that's the kind of building that will stand whenever all of the flood waters and storms come up against it. I'm not saying that your life's not going to be impacted by storms or by the storm that you're facing right now. Jesus never promises us that. You might get a few tiles blown off your roof. You might get some damage happening to the outside of your house. But the foundation will be secure. You're going to get hurt and disappointed in this life. But actually, if you build your life on Jesus, that's going to be a foundation that's going to be strong through whatever happens to you in your life here on earth. And it's a foundation that will carry through after you die until you're with him forever, which is really, really exciting. I think my verse is going to be chapter 5, verse 16, which says, "In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." That's something that I could just hear and it disappear out of my head again, not remember it. But actually, the wisest thing I can do is to think about that and actually do it. How can I let my actions, my light, shine this week? How can you let your light shine this week in this season that's challenging, in this season of coronavirus? Let's pray. So where you are, what I'd love you to do is just close your eyes for a minute. Just think about what you've heard. Bow your head, close your eyes. And again, you might want to open your hands if you want to. It's not about anyone else in this moment. This is about you, wherever you are listening to this. Whether you're listening to it live, whether you're listening to it back. This is a moment between you and God. He wants to meet with you. I'm going to pray 2 prayers, and I'm going to give 2 responses. The first response is actually for you if you know that you want to live your life with a strong foundation. You want to obey Jesus, not just hear the things that he says, but you want to love him, you want to please him, you want to follow him, you want to seek him. You want that kind of life that's going to be able to stand in every storm. But you know actually that you've heard him a lot of times and you've just not done it. You've ignored him. You've allowed it to go in and go straight back out again. And tonight you're making a fresh commitment to actually live this, to do this. Not just to hear about it, but to do it. So I want to pray for you if you're in that situation. God knows in your heart if that's the place that you're in, but I'm just going to pray for you just now for anyone that's responding in that way in their hearts. Jesus, thank you for every single person that's tuning in this moment to you, that's responding to your word. I pray just now for every person that's responding and saying, I want to live this out. I know it's difficult. I know I don't always get it right, but I want to try. I want to try and serve you, Jesus. I want to try and please you. I want to try and live a life that puts into practice the things that you have told me. And I want my foundation to be secure and unshakable and unmovable no matter what happens in my life. I pray, God, that anyone that's praying that tonight, Holy Spirit, right now, where they are, come and fill them. Come and meet with them. Come and encourage them. Come and pour your love out on them afresh. They need your power. We need your power to be able to live like this. We need your grace to be able to live like this. We can't do it on our own. Holy Spirit, come and embolden and empower anyone that's in that place tonight. Now, you might be here and you might actually have never decided to follow Jesus. What I talked about earlier about the cross and him taking your wrath and taking the wrath against all of your mistakes and all the times you've messed it up. You've never actually chosen to believe that and start a relationship with Jesus. If that's you tonight, then again, just where you are, open your hands before God. And I want to give you a prayer that you can pray. Take my words for yourself and use them. If you're crying out to God, you say, I want that kind of stormproof life. I want to know Jesus. Then just pray like this. Jesus, I thank you that you went through the biggest storm in history for me. I thank you, Jesus, that you took the storm of all of God's anger towards every mistake I've ever made. Today I want to turn around and stop putting my foundation in other things. Today I want to put my foundation in you. I want to honor you and follow you for the rest of my life. Thank you, God, for hearing my prayer and for bringing me into your family. If that's you, then you've just made the most awesome decision that you ever could possibly make in your whole life. If that is you and you want some help walking out that decision in terms of what's next, I don't know what to do now. I've made this decision to follow Jesus. I've made this decision to to do what pleases Him with the rest of my life. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to help you. We'd love to send you something to get you started on this journey. So if that's you, then again, I'd love you just why not just email us on the address that was there earlier, youth@destinyedinburgh.com. Give us an email just to let us know. Or if you normally connect and you made the first response, why not get in touch with your small group leader or get in touch with the youth leader just to say, you know what, I prayed that prayer that Mark prayed on Friday night. I want to really go for this now. I want to do the things that Jesus says. I want to have that foundation. We'd love to help support you and pray for you if you made that decision tonight. I have no idea if you're still with me. I hope you still are. It's been fun to hang out tonight. We're heading towards the end. This is the end. So a couple of things just to say. Sundays are your time to tune in for church online. We want you to connect. Our services are streamed. Here's the address: destinyedinburgh.com/live. Go along there, click the link, stick it into your browser, search for it on Google. But come and join us every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. or 6 p.m. And connect in with one of those services. You'll be blessed by it. It's important that we still continue to be church and continue to gather together, even though it's online during this season. And then just lastly, just to remind you, I've said it a few times already, but I'm going to say it again. I'd love to keep you up to date on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, why not just connect with us at Destiny Youth Edinburgh, all one word. Send us an email to connect with us. Don't forget about the weekly challenge. Don't forget about the home taskmaster at home, A4 sheet in a bin. Want to see some creativity, send them in to us. And then lastly, just to remind you, small groups, be part of the small group. That's our opportunity to properly connect. So it's different to me just talking to the camera. It's us getting to talk to each other on camera and interact and have fun. So I want to encourage you, come and get involved, 7:30 p.m. on Monday. It's going to be really good. I'm excited to have you there. I'll be there. Why not come and join us at 7:30 on Monday? Okay, this is us wrapped up. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the live stream on for another couple of minutes. If you want to just have a chat on the chat box, a couple of minutes just for people to interact, to say goodbye, to ask a question, to chat with one of our leaders, and then we'll finish up the live stream in a couple of minutes. It's been so good to be together. Episode 2 of Destiny Youth Friday night online is a wrap. Make sure you join us every week, 7:30 p.m. And we will be, as a team, praying for you for sure in the incoming week. Peace out. Mic drop.